In 1965, the National Electrical Code, or NEC, required ground wires in all branch circuits. However, existing two-wire circuits were allowed to remain in place. Under the NEC, ground fault interrupter, or GFI, protection is required for bathrooms, kitchens, outdoor receptacles, and other areas where electrical shock hazards could occur. Ground fault interrupter, or GFI, circuit breakers can be installed at the main panel to provide ground fault interrupter, or GFI, protection for specific circuits. They replace standard circuit breakers and are cost-effective for protecting existing two-wire circuits. Ground fault interrupter, or GFI, circuit breakers trip when they detect ground faults, providing protection against electrical shock. Existing two-wire Romex circuits that have been inspected and found to be in good condition may be allowed to remain without ground fault interrupter, or GFI, protection. However, this is at the discretion of the local electrical inspector. To protect two-wire Romex circuits with ground fault interrupter, or GFI protection, firstly verify circuit condition. Ensure that the existing two-wire circuit is in good condition and free of defects. Secondly, install ground fault interrupter, or GFI, circuit breaker. Replace the standard circuit breaker with a ground fault interrupter, or GFI, circuit breaker rated for the circuit load. Thirdly, test ground fault interrupter, or GFI, function. Test the ground fault interrupter, or GFI, circuit breaker to ensure it is functioning properly. It is important to follow all local electrical codes and regulations when installing ground fault interrupter, or GFI, circuit breakers. Consult with a qualified electrician for proper installation and inspection. The information provided here is for educational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician before undertaking any electrical work. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by those with the proper training and experience. Ensure all work complies with local electrical codes and regulations. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a set of standards for safe electrical installation. It is updated every 3 years and is used as a basis for electrical codes in many jurisdictions. Grounding is an important safety measure that helps to protect against electrical shock. It provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which can trip a circuit breaker or fuse and energize the circuit. Ground fault interrupters, or GFIs, are devices that detect small amounts of current leakage to ground. When a ground fault is detected, the GFI trips and interrupts the circuit, preventing electrical shock. Ground fault interrupters, or GFIs, are required in areas where there is a high risk of electrical shock, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor receptacles. Two-wire Romex wiring does not have a ground wire. This can be a safety hazard, as it does not provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source. In older homes with two-wire Romex wiring, ground fault interrupters, or GFIs, can be used to provide ground fault protection. Ground fault interrupters, or GFIs, can be installed as receptacles or as circuit breakers. When installing ground fault interrupters, or GFIs, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions and all applicable electrical codes. It is also important to test the ground fault interrupters, or GFIs, regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. Knob and tube wiring is an older type of wiring that is not grounded. Knob and tube wiring can be a safety hazard, as it is more likely to be damaged or deteriorated over time. If you have knob and tube wiring in your home, it is important to have it inspected by a qualified electrician. The electrician can assess the condition of the wiring and recommend any necessary repairs or replacements. Upgrading your electrical system can improve the safety and reliability of your home. When upgrading your electrical system, it is important to consider your current and future electrical needs. You should also make sure that the upgrades comply with all applicable electrical codes. A qualified electrician can help you to plan and install the electrical upgrades that are right for your home. The cost of electrical work can vary depending on the scope of the project. It is important to get estimates from several different electricians before starting any work. Make sure that the estimates include all of the costs, including labor, materials, and permits. When choosing an electrician, it is important to choose one who is licensed and insured. A licensed electrician has met the requirements of the state or local jurisdiction and is qualified to perform electrical work. An insured electrician has insurance that will protect you in case of any accidents or damages. Electrical safety is important for everyone. By following these safety tips, you can help to prevent electrical shocks and fires. Never overload electrical circuits. Overloading a circuit can cause the wires to overheat and start a fire. Use the correct size fuse or circuit breaker for each circuit. Using the wrong size fuse or circuit breaker can also cause the wires to overheat and start a fire. Never use extension cords as permanent wiring. Extension cords are not designed to handle the same amount of current as permanent wiring and can overheat and start a fire. Keep electrical cords and appliances away from water. Water is a good conductor of electricity and can cause an electrical shock. Never touch electrical wires or appliances with wet hands. Wet hands can also conduct electricity and cause an electrical shock. If you see a downed power line, stay away from it and call the power company. Downed power lines can be very dangerous and can cause electrical shock. If you have any questions about electrical safety, contact a qualified electrician. Electrical work should always be performed by a qualified electrician. Do not attempt to do electrical work yourself unless you have the proper training and experience. Working with electricity can be dangerous and can cause serious injury or death. When working on electrical circuits, always turn off the power at the main breaker. This will help to prevent electrical shock. Use insulated tools when working on electrical circuits. Insulated tools will help to protect you from electrical shock. Wear safety glasses when working on electrical circuits. Safety glasses will help to protect your eyes from flying debris. If you are not sure how to do something, ask a qualified electrician for help. It is better to be safe than sorry when working with electricity. Proper grounding ensures a safe path for electrical current in case of a fault. Without proper grounding, a fault can cause a shock hazard or even a fire. Ground fault interrupters, or GFIs, are designed to protect people from electrical shock by quickly cutting off the power when a ground fault is detected. GFI are particularly important in areas where water is present, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoors. When replacing a standard circuit breaker with a ground fault interrupter, or GFI, circuit breaker, it is important to choose a GFI that is rated for the correct amperage. The amperage rating of the GFI should match the amperage rating of the circuit it is protecting. It is also important to test the ground fault interrupter, or GFI, regularly to ensure that it is working properly. Most GFI have a test button that can be used to test the GFI. To test a GFI, press the test button. The GFI should trip and cut off the power to the circuit. If the GFI does not trip, it should be replaced. Electrical codes are designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. It is important to follow all applicable electrical codes when performing electrical work. Local electrical inspectors are responsible for enforcing electrical codes. If you are not sure about something, it is always best to consult with the local electrical inspector. Aluminum wiring was used in some homes in the 1960s and 1970s. Aluminum wiring can be a fire hazard if it is not properly installed and maintained. If you have aluminum wiring in your home, it is important to have it inspected by a qualified electrician. The electrician can assess the condition of the wiring and recommend any necessary repairs or replacements. Arc fault circuit interrupters, or FSIs, are designed to protect against fires caused by arcing faults. Arcing faults can occur when electrical wires become loose or damaged. FSIs are required in many new homes and are a good way to improve electrical safety. Surge protectors are designed to protect electronic devices from power surges. Power surges can damage electronic devices and shorten their lifespan. Surge protectors are a good way to protect your investment in electronic devices. Smoke detectors are an important safety device that can save lives. Smoke detectors should be installed on every level of your home and in every bedroom. Test your smoke detectors regularly to ensure that they are working properly. Carbon monoxide detectors are another important safety device that can save lives. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that can be deadly. Carbon monoxide detectors should be installed near sleeping areas. Test your carbon monoxide detectors regularly to ensure that they are working properly. Regular electrical inspections can help to identify potential electrical hazards and prevent fires and shocks. Electrical inspection should be performed by a qualified electrician. The electrician can inspect your wiring, outlets, and appliances and recommend any necessary repairs or replacement. By taking these steps, you can help to ensure the safety of your home and family. When a ground fault interrupter, or GFI, trips, it is important to determine the cause of the trip before resetting the GFI. The most common causes of GFI trips are ground faults, which can be caused by faulty appliances, damaged wiring, or moisture. If you cannot determine the cause of the trip, consult with a qualified electrician. It is important to remember that ground fault interrupters, or GFIs, are designed to protect people from electrical shock, but they do not protect against all electrical hazards. It is still important to follow all electrical safety precautions, such as never touching electrical wires or appliances with wet hands. When working with electricity, always err on the side of caution. If you are not sure about something, consult with a qualified electrician. Electrical safety is a serious matter, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and your family. By following these tips, you can help to prevent electrical shocks and fires. Remember to always consult with a qualified electrician for any electrical work. They have the training and experience to ensure that the work is done safely and correctly.